All right, so good morning, everybody, and welcome to National Infrastructure Week. Today, as folks know, we're going to be doing a demonstration of roadway resurfacing, something that this team here to my right does in neighborhoods across the city all spring, summer, and fall. This event is one of hundreds that are happening in the city of Boston and across the nation as part of National Infrastructure Week, a week to really recognize what the importance is of infrastructure in the daily lives of residents in our nation. A few weeks ago, the mayor was in Charlestown, released the city's annual capital budget, a capital budget of about $2.78 billion over the next 5 years. A budget that puts about 10% of that funding towards resiliency to make Boston more resilient for generations to come, a budget that invests $30 million in the Boston Housing Authority to improve affordable housing, a budget that puts money towards things like Franklin Park and Moakley Park, and our libraries and our firehouses across the city, and a budget that puts over $1 billion towards sidewalks, roads, and bridges in our city. That budget largely stems from Imagine Boston 2030, a citywide master plan, the first citywide master plan in Boston in the last 50 years. And that plan really focuses on delivering a better city for folks in Boston, something which the mayor has been pushing us to do and to deliver on. So it is my pleasure and my honor to be able to welcome to the mic our mayor, Mayor Martin J. Walsh, the person who will be kicking off National Infrastructure Week here in Boston.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. And let me just thank Chris and Katie, Choe. You're going to hear from in a few minutes, our Office of Workforce Development, everyone for joining us here today. I want to thank all the workers, in particular Public Works Transportation. They do the work every single day here, and they keep our city moving, and they fix the problems, and I truly appreciate the great work they're doing. I want to thank Norman Parks and Darrell Kaiser for their work, the District 10 supervisors here, and everyone here today, honestly, quite honestly. I'm proud to kick off National Infrastructure Week. Today we're seeing a live demonstration on how our city roads get resurfaced. It's just one example of the critical work that's happening and being done around the clock here in the city of Boston, 365 days a year, all across our city. Our dedicated men and women help keep Boston running, and we're grateful for their hard work. Boston is making historic investments in infrastructure. We're repairing roads and bridges such as North Washington Street Bridge and Dana Ave Bridge. We're planning construction on 14 miles of sidewalks, resurfacing 52 miles of roadway, and continue to make our streets better for bikes and buses and cars and pedestrians to be able to get around. And we're not just repairing the infrastructure of the past, we're creating resilient infrastructure of the future. Strong infrastructure is certainly critical to our economic success, our overall safety, and our quality of life. That's why we're going to continue to make these investments, these crucial investments, and we're fortunate to have the opportunity to do so, and very strong fiscal management has maximized our capital. But we still can't do this alone. It can't just be a city investment. On Wednesday, I'm going to be traveling to Washington, D.C. with the governor to make the case for federal investment. We need a strong, reliable federal partner, and right now we don't have one. Our country doesn't have a national infrastructure plan, and that lack of investment is hurting cities and towns all across this country. My first year in office, I had to close 2 bridges. Now we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on rebuilding them. It shouldn't have gotten to that point. We need to do investments now to save our nation's billions of dollars of losses down the road. And I don't want to forget, the investing in the infrastructure is more than rebuilding a bridge or repairing a sidewalk. It's also about rebuilding a strong middle class. For every dollar that we spend on construction, we're creating good jobs. For every dollar we spend on maintenance, we're creating substantial good jobs. That's why we're expanding access to these jobs. We launched City Academy in 2018 to connect and train residents for good careers with the city of Boston. We graduated our first class in January, and we've already placed people on good jobs with good benefits. But we need more funding to make more opportunities available in Boston and across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Investing in infrastructure is ultimately about believing in our future. It's about protecting our communities built by those who came before us. It's about building something that will last for generations. And it's about rebuilding our middle class so we have an economy that works for everyone. And I truly want to thank everyone for coming out today. And we'll take some questions in a little bit, but I'm going to turn the mic back over to Chris.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. As the mayor said, investing in infrastructure is really about investing in our neighborhoods and investing in our economy. And in the Public Works Department, that infrastructure investment is led by our Chief Engineer, Katie Choe. Katie and her exceptional team this year, as the mayor said, will resurface around 52 miles of roadway, rebuild around 14 miles of sidewalks, reconstruct about 1,400 pedestrian ramps across the city of Boston. And as Katie and her team are thinking about doing that work, she's also doing work to think about what methods of construction we need to be able to confront the challenges we're facing both today and tomorrow. For that work, Katie recently received an award from the Environmental Business Council of New England for her work in creating new design standards around climate-ready and climate-resilient Boston. So it's my pleasure to welcome our Chief Engineer, Katie Choe.
Thank you, Mayor Walsh and Chief Osgood. I'm thrilled to welcome you all here in honor of Infrastructure Week to get a close view of the amazing work that my teams do to maintain and improve Boston's streets and sidewalks. While my remarks are primarily to get you the information that about what you're about to see, I want to take a minute to introduce myself. I joined the city 5.5 years ago as Chief Engineer to oversee the Public Works Construction Program, utility coordination, infrastructure asset management, ADA compliance, and infrastructure resilience and climate action programs. I'm a proud JP resident, but I will admit that I'm not a native Bostonian. I grew up in rural Vermont and came to Boston for college, where I fell in love with the city. I earned 2 degrees in civil engineering and construction management from MIT, and have been working to improve the region's infrastructure ever since. I've brought lessons from my experiences, living as a student, raising children in the city, navigating with my disabled father, commuting on the T, and learning to ride a bike as an adult to my work. The diverse backgrounds and experiences of everyone on my staff make the work that we do stronger. Before I describe the work that you will be seeing today, I want to give a huge thank you to Mario Susi from Mario Susi and Sons of Dorchester, right here, and my paving engineer, Kevin Linsky, for working out all of the logistics for today's demonstration. And another huge thank you to their crews for being good sports about being put in the spotlight. Today you will see demonstrations of 3 of the 4 phases of a resurfacing project. These usually happen sequentially over the course of 3 to 5 days for a street of the size of Ritchie Street. The first phase is milling, or cold planing the street. Approximately 2 inches of the existing pavement is ground off of the street to remove damage and create room for the new surface. Second, we level or reset the cast iron structures in the roadway. We do this to ensure a smooth and quiet ride over the new roadway and to eliminate any puddling on the road. This phase of the work is the loudest and most disruptive because we have to jackhammer out the old concrete and then must protect the new concrete from being driven over while it hardens. The actual paving of the street is the third phase. To lessen our environmental impact, we use an asphalt mix that includes recycled pavement and a chemical additive that allows it to be produced at 50 degrees lower than typical asphalt pavement, thereby lowering emissions during production. The fourth and last phase of the paving project is replacing the pavement markings. We can't show that to you today because pavement needs to be in place anywhere between 2 and 14 days in order for the thermoplastic markings to fully adhere to the roadway and maintain their color. It also has to be completely dry for the application, which, given all the rain we've had, we weren't sure was going to happen today. With every paving operation, we also bring adjacent pedestrian ramps into ADA compliance. The sidewalks on Ritchie Street are programmed for full reconstruction, but we have set up a small concrete demonstration so that you can see the process. Before we head over to the work, I need to give you a quick safety briefing. As a reminder, this will be an active construction site. It's not just for show. The equipment and the activities are dangerous. Fresh asphalt is hot and it will burn you if you come into contact with it. The crews are used to working around the public, and we have added personnel today to make sure that you stay safe. But we ask that you stay outside the work zone and follow all the instruction of myself or the crews. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katie. As the crews get ready for the demonstration, and unless Audrey tells me otherwise, we'll do a couple questions here and then head over to the demonstration. Any questions about National Infrastructure Week or the resurfacing demo?
Just how it plays on a national level. This is one of more than 100, Mr. Mayor. How does this all play as far as a national movement?
The U.S. Conference of Mayors is one of the big issues that we work on. It's one of the pillars of Mayor Steve Benjamin's tenure as president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors this year, infrastructure. And the issues that we have here in Boston are all over the United States of America, both in rural and urban and suburban communities. So it really is important as we think about the work that we do here in Boston. Obviously, an urban area, busy urban area. Other cities have the same challenges that we have, and that's why kicking this week off and promoting this week the way we are, first of all, for people of Boston, when you go out and do some filming here, people of Boston getting a glimpse of it's not just simple. It's not just simply filling a pothole. There's a system and a process that goes on with that, but also increasing the urgency of down in Washington of the need for more investment is key.
What's the ultimate goal of the trip to Washington? What do you hope to get out of that?
More money. I mean, basically more money for the Commonwealth, more money for the city of Boston, and more money for the United States. I mean, it really is. We're not the only ones down there. National Infrastructure Week, we'll have mayors and governors, maybe not together, but we'll have elected officials from all over the country. We'll have advocacy groups from all over the country going down to Washington, talking to the Congress and senators to let them know the importance of this issue, and that it's been quite a while now since we've had some major infrastructure investments from a national level, and it's key. I mean, we think about today, we're thinking about a street, but really it's expanding rail. It's commuter rail. It's our MBTA. It's our sidewalks and streets and upgrades and safety and handicap ramps, accessibility. All of that stuff is part of Infrastructure Week. It's our highways. It's our HOV lanes in some cities. It's all of that stuff. When you think about the amount of investment from the federal government that we're looking for, it really is every aspect of transportation.
Can I just ask Katie a real quick question about a lot of people might see this as a disruption to their normal daily getting around. Express to the public how important it is to keep on top of this thing.
So the longer we defer maintenance, the more it costs in the end. So we always want a good quality of life for all of our residents, so we try and maintain all of our infrastructure in a good state of repair. And we do understand that construction is disruptive, but we try and minimize that disruption with everything that we do.
Anything else before we go outside?
Pounds of pavement?
Well, we're going to watch some pavement being pounded. All right. Thank you for being here today, and I want to thank Chris too and his leadership here. And honest to God, it's the folks that work here and that do the work. I mean, we when something's good, we get the credit for it, but it really is Katie's team, Chris's team, everybody's team that does some amazing work here. So thank you. Hello.
Okay.